welcome back to the third episode of the 4-part webinar series. And if you're new here, welcome for the first time. Today we're going to talk about omnichannel loyalty, how to keep customers across every touch point, and we're going to dive a bit deeper into how your business can turn every interaction into a loyalty opportunity, how top brands today are using omnichannel strategies in retail and F&B, and also how you can create gamified journeys in your loyalty program. For those who are new here, again, this is the third episode of this 4-part webinar series that you see here. This webinar series is called the Consumer Loyalty Webinar, taken out of our latest Consumer Loyalty Report that is available for you to download at the end of the session. And so in terms of omnichannel customer journeys, the gap today that we're seeing in loyalty programs is the limited reach that brands have with their customers. And that actually also means fragmented customer paths, which leads to an incomplete view of your customer profiles and then also an unsynced benefit allocation. And this is very prominent because we're actually seeing a shift away from fragmented digital journeys, where 85.7% of businesses agree that frictionless loyalty operations are crucial. And we're also seeing a 2.5 times higher customer lifetime value with mobile-first programs. And so we actually talked about this in webinar 1. If you're interested, please go ahead and watch that, right? So in terms of customer journeys, your customers are shopping across channels and platforms. And the most prominent ones that we're seeing today are the digital first journey, the store first journey, as well as the connected journey. Now, in terms of digital first journeys, your customers usually start with online research and reviews at first, usually influenced by social media or digital advertisements. That usually ends with them buying on the digital platform on itself, but sometimes your customers also move from your digital platform to a physical store where it's available. The store first journey usually start with customers coming in store to discover your product, and they most likely would check online to see if there's better prices somewhere, and make their decision based on the most convenient or rewarding channel. And the third journey that we're seeing popping up a lot, and of course you can kind of see the sentiment between digital first journey as well as store first journey, is the connected journey. Now, this is when your customers are within the cyclical version of the whole cycle, where they are being influenced both on digital and physical platforms on its own. And there is an ongoing relationship between you and the brand. And so to be where they are, you need to be ready. Market leaders don't chase customers across platforms. They're already there waiting. And across industries, your customers are engaging with your brands through both platforms in one way or another. And in the example of an F&B, you can see them going to your physical stores or even using digital platforms for online ordering and etc. In terms of retail, you can see people coming to in-store to check out the product or also opt for online shopping at the same time. And even through services and hospitality, engaging with your customers through social media is also another form of engaging with your customers cross-platform. So for example, here we have a hotel, but at the same time on the social media platforms, they're also doing a lot of experiential activities such as giveaways as well as other rewards to entice their customers to come to their hotel. And Node is a really great example of this. With 11 outlets across Hong Kong and China, they've unified customer experiences across online and physical outlets, with selling merch online and also having physical outlets for, well, of course, their coffee and their cafe services. And in retail, Novella provides a clear customer journey through their connected loyalty program. And so in this way, customers can earn points whether they shop online or offline. And in another interesting take on omnichannel customer engagements is Thomson Health. In the mass pharmaceutical retail scene, they've utilized receipt submission to allow their customers to reach them and earn points through submitting a photo of their receipt directly to their loyalty program. And this way, their customers can connect with Thomson Health despite any pharmaceutical third-party retail platforms. And this really shows us that every touch point matters. Businesses don't have the touch points they create, they have the touch points that they activate. And this really means if you have 10 actual touch points that you can have with your customers, but only activating 2 of them, you only have 2 touch points. Now, here's an example, right? Scenario 1, a sushi restaurant. This sushi restaurant is really great at coming up with engaging games. So what they actually did is upon a 50 ringgit spend, customers stand a chance to win a car. And to do this, customers just need to drop the receipt in their lucky draw box. And usually within this process, it starts out really great, but it ends really coldly. And so what this actually means, if this sushi restaurant were to utilize on the touch points that they've already kickstarted, it would look something like this. In a better scenario, this business would be able to utilize loyalty program enrollment in this customer journey path to re-engage their customers even after they left the store. And so this would kind of look like having their customers drop in that receipt in the lucky draw box and simultaneously also enrolling them in their loyalty program of some sorts. And through that, they can also be able to send them timely updates on the lucky draw campaign, also sending them simultaneous promotions of other campaigns. And this can also trickle down to a retention offer. In the case where the customers doesn't actually win the car, they can also have other benefits such as skip the line privileges or a 5% off their next dine-in purchase. The second scenario that we're seeing here is a matcha dessert shop. Now, I've actually experienced this myself. This matcha dessert shop actually rewarded me with a free cake through a lucky draw upon a 50 ringgit spend, and that's about it. Now, if they really were able to utilize the touch points that they want to have with their customers, they can also enroll them in a loyalty program. After winning the free cake, they're able to send them a welcome offer, which then results them in coming back the second time. So, the more touch points you can identify in your customer journey, the better you can engage them regardless of acquisition, marketing, or the loyalty stage. Now, there's a lot of touch points to think about, within your whole marketing journey, and let alone omni-channel journey in itself. And that's why we've prepared something called the Touchpoint Mapping Journey for this webinar. Now, this Touchpoint Mapping Journey is a pre-formulated framework that helps you easily map out your customer journey and also helps you have a greater overview of your whole marketing journey as a whole. You can actually use this framework to help you map out campaigns and also look at individual touch points to see what touch points you want to improve and how it's kind of working right now. And this goes without saying that this sheet actually helps you have a balanced score within each touch point. This sheet is actually also made up of both transactional value scoring and emotional value scoring. Now, what do we actually mean by that, right? In transactional value scoring, you're looking at the monetary value. It could be either monetary value or immediate benefit from your brand to your customers. And when we talk about emotional value scoring, it is about how your customers feel when they're going through each touch point. Now, here we've given you a score of 1 to 5. You can look at the examples. For example, in transactional value scoring, you're looking at 1 being no clear value, such as not really a great tangible benefit or even like a smaller benefit just to get them in the door, or it can go as high as something with a very high immediate value, such as a sign-up bonus worth $50, for example. And the second segment to this is the emotional value scoring, with 1 being no emotional connection, something that is pretty much automated, to 5 having a deep emotional connection with your customers, such as a personal recognition or even just your customer service calling their names. Things like that can actually make a huge impact in the emotional connection that they really have. So the key part here within, being able to discern between transactional and emotional value is not really in how much value monetarily you're giving, but how intentional you are in crafting and balancing both transactional and emotional value when creating each touch points for your customers. Now that you've known this framework actually helps you automatically average out the balance score. So for example, within the transactional value of the sign-up process, it could be a very low value. So something like little to no rewards at all, just a sign up process, but your emotional value is high. So for example, if they're looking at basic personalization and targeting after they've signed up for your loyalty program, you can rate it a 3, like a positive sentiment, right? And the balance score would actually be an average out of these two, and it will be 2. So whatever that you are doing right now, you're also able to take notes within the framework in itself. So for example, reward redemption, you're able to take down notes. For example, if you're doing a spin the wheel campaign, you can also note that down for an overview. Now, once you're done with this, you can have an overview of your balance score, and we would suggest that anything below the score of 3 is something that you can actually look into. And of course, you can also improve the ones on 3 or above, but the priority should be something below 3. And to plan out your action, we also have an action mapping sheet within the framework link itself. So this sheet helps you plan out your strategy. You can look at your current score and your target score and what you want to do to get to that score and the timeline. So this is actually a really great framework for collaboration or even personal planning within your marketing journey. Now, once we've identified those journeys, we also need to understand the concept of engagement throughout your customers' touch points with you, right? So right now, we're actually seeing the market shifting a lot. We're seeing retailers launching dining experiences. We're seeing F&B brands creating retail lines. We're also seeing hotels developing co-working spaces and beauty brands opening cafes. We'll talk more about that and why that is in our next webinar. But within this alone, we can see how brands today are trying to engage with their customers more and more and creating even more touch points than they usually would have in their original business model. And the reason for this also stems into engagement, right? And a lot of brands today, whether they're able to go across their industry or not, they're using gamification as a form of engaging with their customers. And this is so prominent because 74% of APAC consumers are willing to participate in games, contests, or challenges through loyalty program or apps. And 66% of existing program owners are likely to revamp their loyalty programs, and they're also seeing this shift within the next 3 years. And so one of the things that you can do within a loyalty program and gamification is the open gift, or we like to call it mystery gift box. And this is so evident because of the blind box trend today. You can see people actually really liking the surprise element of this, and it also adds excitement and engagement. So these are some of the things that you can try. And the second thing that you can try is also another element of surprise, which is the spin the wheel engagement. So gamification is really great because it helps you build between purchase relationships with your customers, and also keeping your customers coming back for more. Now, here are some key phygital touch points that build loyalty. First and foremost, of course, it is the member recognition across platform. And to allow them to come back for more, there's also an easy reward access that your customers need to be able to experience throughout their loyalty journey. And this also links to seamless point collections across channels, whether it's digital or physical channels, and also, of course, a diversified communication channel, whether is it through WhatsApp, whether is it through email or SMS. These are some touch points that your business can leverage today to connect with your customers no matter where they are. Now, there's so many touch points to manage, and of course we have that strategy mapping, but how do you now action it, right? So here's some ways that you can enable your team to think about omni-channel management. We have separated this into 3 layers. The first layer is your front end. How do you empower your front line to identify and connect with your customers on the get-go? Now, the key here is giving them easy access to your members. So when your customers come in the store, they're able to recognize their members very easily through a quick member lookup. And through the quick member lookup, they can also look at the clear benefits and rewards that the member is entitled to, which leads to easy point collections, easy reward redemptions for the customers. The second layer that we're looking at here is the experiential layer for your customers. Now, Your customers need to have a seamless user journey no matter where they go. So that actually looks like cross-channel progress syncing. Whether they buy online or within your physical stores, whatever that reflects online needs to reflect in your physical store. And this also links to timing of it. Having real-time achievement progress is also very important to help your members see that your business is up to date with whatever they're doing with your brand. And of course, we're saying it again, seamless point collection, right? To be able to collect their points through every platform and also redeem their rewards very easily without hassle. Now, the third and last layer of all of this is being able to have a clear view of backend data. Now, this is so important because it allows your marketing team to understand what's really going on and how you can grow and scale your customer journey. Now, here is where you can empower your marketing efforts and equip your team with real-time insights. So on the backend in itself, you need to have clear insights on your consumers, again, throughout the platforms, and also using this data to inform your message triggering with automated processes if you wish. And this all can help you prevent churn with real-time data. Now, speaking about understanding your customers more, we'd like to invite you to join our fourth webinar, which is also our final webinar, to help you understand how to personalize your customer profile. So the power of personalization, how and when to connect with your customers. And we're going to talk about how to balance emotional and transactional elements in your loyalty program, which we've talked about a little bit today, and when to use email, SMS, or direct messaging in your programs and why. And we're also going to talk about privacy first data collection. What does it mean to collect zero-party data, or how can you understand data collection as a business? So stay tuned for our next webinar, and thank you for watching.